Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back to my video. Okay, in this video, we are going to talk about material for meeting 11, yeah, for our introduction to Tesol methodology. But as usual, I will give you um, a brief of opening, yeah. Okay, in this occasion, I will share to you our English Education Study Program vision in Latan Samashiro is to become an outstanding English education study program in developing digital-based learning materials with a local wisdom approach and fostering entrepreneurs with global competitiveness guided by noble character. And for our Quran Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 269. Yeah, knowledge as a gift from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. He grants wisdom to whom He wills, and whoever has been granted wisdom has certainly been given much good, and none will remember except those of understanding. So, this Quran Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 269, teach us that knowledge is one of the blessings bestowed by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Through knowledge, humans are able to comprehend the wisdom embedded in life. Knowledge not only provides understanding but also cultivates wisdom in action. Therefore, seeking knowledge is one of the ways to attain the great blessing from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. That's I can give to you everyone, and then I will share the material now. Um, yeah, in this time, we will learn more about new material. Yeah, after we learn kinds of teaching methodology, now we are going to move a bit, yeah, because this is very important and will help you to understand which one is fit for your students and for your classes when you are preparing English material, and which one teaching methodology that fit to your students. Yeah, so we will learn about learning style and strategy based instruction in this part. For learning style, we will focus to the students. Yeah, learning style for the students. Okay, let's move on. Okay, in this presentation, we will focus on how students can retain or keep new knowledge. We will also look at strategies which work together with students' learning style to improve students' learning experiences. We will explore how students can change their viewpoints on the overall learning process to have more effective result. Nah, for the first, I will discuss about learner retention, yeah. During teaching and learning process, especially for the students' learning process, there is a pyramid or percentage that it will gain the students' understanding. Now, if you look at the sorry, this one, yeah. Okay, over there in the picture of the red one, this one, yeah, red one. No, not red, but it's orange, I think, yeah. You can see here there is a 10% of we read or what your students read. So if you only help students or you only instruct your students to read something or reading the materials, yeah, it means that the students only get 10% to understand what they are reading. But if you go on again, yeah, the second one, the second one, 20%, and then they will hear something. For example, if you explain rather than ask the students to read, it will gain 10% more. So the total is 20%. Yeah. But if you want more, you can get it 30% by asking the students to watch something. Yeah. By hear and watch something, and then they will gain 30%. It's like when you explain to your student about the material in the classroom, you will your student will hear you and watch you do, and then they will gain 30%. How about more percentage? If you want more, it's about 50%. Yeah, you can have it hear and see. Like as right now, you hear and see me in the video, and then you will get 10%. If you really watch me carefully, focus on me. Not you are watching me, but you do another things that not relate to uh, the material we are discuss in this video, yeah. So you will get 10%. It the same as when you attend to the class and then you sit there and you listen and hear and what everything that the teachers do. Yeah, you will get 15%. How about more? If you want more again, to 70%, and then you have to do another thing, not only hear or see. Yeah, but you have to say something, yeah, or participating in a discussion, yeah. If you participate in discussion or you somehow uh, when your teacher on or you as a teacher and then your students asking something from what you explain and you have a conversation or discussion together, then your student will gain 70% from this activity. And then how about more? Um, Almost 100% in 90%. Then your student have to do say and do. Say and do something. It can be like a student make a demonstration or presenting something. Yeah. So it means that they really learn something, explain something. Yeah. This is the highest understanding of learning in 90%. Okay, so let's take a look on the expert theory from Edgar Deal. Explain that after 2 weeks, learners tend to remember more by doing and interacting with the materials. It means active learning, yeah, not passive learning, rather than simply looking at and reading the material. And then teachers should teach learners how to not only engage with the material but also retain the material using effective method. Yeah, not only engage but retain. So not only know but understand. Yeah, understand the material and If your students understand whenever it is, they can explain again the material. Okay, so what are learning strategies? Language learning strategies are specific action, behaviors, step or techniques that students often intentionally use to improve their progress in developing L2 skills. These strategies help students retain or remember the new language, and strategies are self-directed. Yeah, this is the what we call it learning strategies. Yeah, it should be a specific action or behavior, step or technique that students will improve. Yeah, their understanding and progress during learning process. Okay, and then sorry. The importance of learner strategies. Yeah. Strategies help develop students' communication skill in the L2. Students become better language learners in general. This is how why learner strategies is important. Yeah. And then here, the characteristics of learner strategies. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7. That can be a characteristic of learner strategies. The first one is learners can be self-directed. And the second one, expand the role of teachers. And then problem-oriented. Next, involve many aspects, not just the cognitive. Yeah, it can be metacognitive, socio-affective. Next can be taught. We can teach them, yeah. Flexible, and the last one are influenced by many factors. Okay. So we go here. The types of learning strategies. Based on O'Malley, first identified language learning strategies and their general characteristic. Um, he divided into three kinds of learning strategies here, yeah, based on the nature of human character. We have metacognitive strategies, cognitive strategies, and socio-affective strategies. Okay. Look at here in metacognitive strategies. What the students and what the teachers can do in metacognitive strategies, such as evaluating one's own learning style and learning needs. Yeah. Then we will get the metacognitive strategy of the students. Or we can also plan for an activity or assignment, yeah, to stimulate the metacognitive of the students. And also, we are doing the monitoring progress during the teaching and learning process. The last one, we can also evaluate the effectiveness of the tools that we use during teaching and learning process. This is around the metacognitive strategies area. And then for the cognitive strategies, because it comes from the thinking in our brain, so we can use resources and instructional tools, yeah, that will push or will improve students' cognitive skill. Or we can also ask the students to note taking, yeah, repetition, using imagery like says image, diagram, picturing or video view, yeah, to stimulate the cognitive, and then making inference or guesses, yeah, and identify the keywords. This is all the activity in cognitive strategies. And then for the socio-affective strategies, there is cooperating or sharing idea, yeah. Cooperative learning, classifying information, self-talk for motivation, and asking question. You have to know that from these three kinds of strategies, metacognitive and cognitive strategies is merely almost similar, yeah. But the very different here is the socio-affective, because socio-affective is close to the student's relationship. Yeah, it can be a relation with the teacher or student with the students. That this is will stimulate their learning strategy, of course. Yeah. So cooperating or sharing idea between the students in group discussion, or asking Q&A student and teachers, or giving feedback together, it will help to increase socio-affective students, yeah. Also motivation, yeah. Motivation is really helping in socio-affective. If your students lack of motivation to do something, you can ask them, or you can make or stimulate them to give a new spirit and motivation. Yeah. So sometimes you can do a self-talk, yeah, for the motivation, one by one with the students that really need the treatment, yeah. And then look at here that I already explained before. Then I will explain one by one for the activity in the classroom that you can do to for the metacognitive strategies. In here, there is a thing allowed, yeah. To activate the metacognitive strategy, we can set the teaching and learning activity by doing thing aloud. What should we do? Here, students answer question aloud to the class before, during, and after reading. If we want to teach reading, yeah. Step one, of course, to activate them by introduce the question, yeah, to the students. And then ask the students to read the part of the text. Next, students can answer the question about the text that they already read. And as a teacher, you can facilitate in a group discussion, yeah, based on the students' answer after they read the text. This will activate the metacognitive strategy. And then for the cognitive strategy, we can do a review guides activity. Yeah, in here, students create their own review guides for quizzes and tests based on what they learn. Yeah. The first step is introduce the topic for the quiz or test. And then the second one, students create a study guide independently in or group based on teacher's guideline. And the last one, students submit their guides on test day. Because in cognitive, to activate the cognitive skill, we can do such things, yeah, that make them more active and fun. Yeah. In this part, there are plenty of things we can set for the cognitive strategy, such as drawing a picture to remember something, especially something more difficult to remember, yeah. Or we can make an example in the sentence for such kind of vocabulary that students learn something new, yeah. And also you can ask your students to write notes about the materials they already learned. Or you can also create test question, yeah, based on the topic. Also, you can ask your students to give a coloring, yeah, from their note taking and so on. Or you can also make a mind mapping, yeah, of the material. This is what you can do in cognitive strategy. And then for the socio-affective strategy here, we can set the material or activity like a think, pair, and share. Once again, because this is a socio-affective strategies, it's like activating the students' relation with others, yeah, not only with their self. So, in this activity, students or teachers can ask the students firstly to think the topic independently. But then, after that, as a teacher, you can divide the students into group or in pairs, yeah, to discuss the topic they already think about, yeah. And then after group discussion or group pair discussion, you can ask them to sharing their idea, yeah. Or other idea, also you can allow students to choose with partner share the information, group student in creative way, yeah. Expand the share into world class discussion and many more, that all the activities should be together and collaborate. Okay. And then what is style and strategy based instruction here? Yeah. A learner focused teaching approach. It combines learning style and learning strategies with classroom activities. Students are given the opportunity to understand not only what they learn, but also how to learn the language more effectively and efficiently. Learners are essentially learning how to learn based on their learning style. In this part, you have to understand that as a teacher, when you are going to give a style and strategy based instruction, you have to pay attention, yeah, giving student opportunity to understand the material. It's not only what they learn. When you just give what they learn, then you just transferring the information. Transferring the information is easy, like students can search the material from internet, from YouTube, and many more, yeah. But when you also have to uh, how to learn the language, explain how to learn the language, then you will give them more uh, deepen treatment. The deepen treatment here means that you don't only transfer the material to the students, yeah, but you also pay attention and pay and follow the students' process during learning. Yeah. If you ask your students to write or to make a narrative text, firstly, you will give the material about the generic structure, the sample of narrative text like that. And then if you just doing or giving them, then you only give what they learn. But if you want to go to the how to learn, you have to teach them, you have to step by step, yeah, direct your students to do how to make narrative text. In here, you can also give the feedback, yeah, for the students. Is it correct or not? Their narrative text. Is there any mistake? Is there any something need to add? Yeah, that will understandable, and students will gain much more understanding of what already they learn, and then also they will get the output, yeah, of what they make. That's how to learn. And then there there are also phases of strategy-based instruction that we can follow as a teacher, yeah, to stimulate our students. The first is preparation, and then awareness raising, training, practice, and personalization of strategies. We can take a look one by one, yeah. The first one, the phase one, is preparation. What we gonna do in this section? The goal is to find out how much students already know about NCAUS and can use strategies. Yeah. As a teacher, we can't assume that students don't know about the strategy. Yeah, because students have most likely developed some strategies previously. Yeah, the thing is that they may not use them systematically and they may not use them well. So, our students is actually unconsciously, yeah, use their strategies, use their learning strategies, but somehow they are confused or they feel like there is a burden, yeah, or there is a cloud inside their understanding, so they couldn't know which strategy is best for them. Yeah. So we have what we have to do as a teacher, we have to give and encourage them and give them stimulus. Yeah. This is what we have to do in preparation. And then for the awareness rising, the goal is for alert learners about strategies they might never have thought of or may have thought about but had never used. Yeah. Teacher raise awareness about what the learning process may consist of, their learning style, preferences, or general approaches to learning, the kinds of strategies that they already use, as well as those suggested by the teacher or classmate. The amount of responsibility that they take for their learning, approaches that can be used to evaluate the student's strategy use. This is what you can do to make the students' awareness is improved. Yeah. Okay. And then for the training, the goal is to explicitly teach how, when, and why certain strategies can be used to learn language. Teachers can describe, model, and give example of possibility useful strategies. Teachers also can ask additional example, yeah, from the students based on students' learning experience. This is make something like what they learn is in real life situation. Yeah. Lead small groups or whole class discussion about strategy, why they are used, planning and approach, evaluating the effectiveness. And then the last one, encourage their students to experiment with a broad range of strategies. And for the phase 4 practice, the goal is students experiment with a broad range of strategies. Learners needs Many opportunities to try strategies of variety of tasks. Yeah, teachers should create strategy-friendly activities. This is what they have to do. Yeah, in a real life situation. The teacher can reinforce strategies that have already been dealt with, allow students time to practice and strategies at the same time they are learning the course content. We can also remind the strategies being used, yeah, while completing the task. For example, there is a students that using uh feedback strategies for making their writing is better. So we can remind again, yeah, to our students, if you are confused to decide the idea inside the paragraph writing, then you can discuss this idea, yeah, by giving a feedback. It can be with your students or with your teachers like that. Yeah, and during the activity, students should plan the strategies that they will use. Pay attention to particular strategies while they are being used, or reflect on their use of strategies. So, in phase 5, personalization of strategies, the goal is to students create their own version of strategies learned, evaluate to see how they are using the strategies, and then think about how to use these strategies in other situations. Now, to make sure that the learners continue to use the strategies, teacher can also use the course material they already have and then determine which strategies might be inserted. Start with a set of strategies that they wish to focus on and design activities around them. The last one, insert strategies randomly into the lessons when appropriate. That is, yeah. So, in order for students to reconsider their ways of learning and learn new strategies to fit their learning style, they need to transform their ways of thinking about learning. Um, and then next video, maybe, yeah, I will explain to you about the transformative learning theory. Yeah. That's all, everyone, that I can explain to you. Now I will give you the assignment as usual. Yeah, as usual, we did at the end of the video. I will give you the assignment. Wait a minute. I will change the fit where the assignment. Okay, this one. This one is better, yeah. Okay. The assignment should be, here you go. As usual, you have to watch my recorded teaching video, understand the material, and then summarize everything that you understand in my video. Yeah. And you have to also record into your video in frame. Yeah. Then the duration should be 3 minutes or more. Then share your link in Google Classroom assignment. Yeah. That's all, everyone, that I can share to you in this video. We will see you again in the next video meeting. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and bye.